All right, man. Well, first off, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview with the Hype Magazine.
No problem at all. Appreciate you for having me.
Man, it's an honor, man. When Sincere mentioned you, I was extremely excited, man. We go back so far. You've always helped me and St. James with Stop Beef from Radio, so it's an honor to have you, on the conversation with us tonight. But to get started, can you tell people who you are and where you're from?
My name is TJ Chapman. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida.
Now, what made you decide you want to get into the music industry and pursue this as your career?
Well, I started out as a DJ.
Yeah.
I got the inspiration to be a DJ from watching movies back in the day like Beat Street and Breaking. And where the DJ was like the nucleus of everything, nucleus of the party starter, the nucleus of the hip hop groups, whether it be making the beats or whether it be scratching and DJing behind them. But DJ was the center of attention, and I just always wanted to be that person.
Now, you're very known for the DJ community. You started one of the biggest conferences that really gave a lot of people starts and opportunities. What made you decide to create your own conference in the first place? And how did you come up with that idea, or your team come up with that idea?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I was part of I had a record pool. I had TJsDJs record pool, and I was part of this DJ coalition I had just got into, and record pool coalition, excuse me. And one of the things that they kept trying to get me to do is they wanted me to have these record pool meetings. But I really wasn't interested in having no damn record pool meeting. But it's just like they kept asking me, and it got to the point where they were like, "Hey, TJ, we're not gonna ask you again. Either you do it, or we're gonna kick you out of the coalition." So I was
Wow.
like,
Okay.
"Shit." I was like, "Shit." So I finally did it, and I organized it in Tallahassee at the Moon, and it was a little side lounge in the Moon called the Silver Moon Lounge. So the first time we did it, I had like 25 people, DJs and artists, and then it was my staff, Keith, and some of my other staff, and it was kind of cool. It was like, damn, you know what? I like this. It's like a nice little networking function, be able to network, share information, and educate, and get out new music, and allow artists to meet the DJs and be seen, perform, and everything. So after the first time I did, I was like, damn, I like that shit. Let's do it again. So we
Yeah.
did it again. Next time I had like 50 people. Did it again. Next time I had 100. Did it again. Like next time I had 200. And it kind of got too small. I was doing it quarterly. So it was once every 3 months, 4 times a year. And we were it kept growing, and to a point where the Silver Moon Lounge was just getting too small.
Right. Yeah, they couldn't handle it no more.
They couldn't handle it no more. And then one day I talked to my man Vaughn. It was DJ Ace. He was the one that hooked up everything for me to do it at the Moon. He managed the Moon. And, he's like, hey, TJ, I can't let you do this in the Silver Moon Lounge no more. And I'm just like, damn, Vaughn, like, why? Like, this thing is
Yeah.
really, really growing. It's booming. Like, people really like it. He was like, nah, man, but you can't do it in here no more. And I'm just like, why, man? He was like, well, look, we got to move you to the big room.
Ah,
And
yeah.
I was like, the big room? I was like, man, hell no, this shit
Nope.
too big. I don't want to. I don't want to go in the big
Yeah.
room. He was
Yeah.
like, no, man, hey, you don't have a choice. You got to go in the big room next time. So I was scared shitless, man. I ain't even gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yep.
And so the next one came. We promoted hardcore, and we were in the big room. In this room, the Moon holds like 2,000 people. And so we in this big ass room,
Wow.
like it got the floor one, two, it got like three different levels.
Okay.
And we just in that thing, and I'm just looking around, and it's like big as hell, and it just seemed like it was just a little bit of people in there. And it was just like, damn, man, I told him I didn't want to do the goddamn big room. And then next thing I know, bro, this
Everybody
thing
showed up.
just filled the pack. It just packed the fuck out. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Like, wow. Like, shit. Like, we packed this thing out.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing and growing. And people were coming from all over. I never really advertised. I just put it on my website, and I had an email list. but it was
Wow.
word of mouth,
Direct to consumer. Yeah.
and it just kept growing. People coming from all over the United States. Everybody wanted to come perform. All the big major groups, and it just grew to something epic.
Yeah.
And
Now, for
then,
people who's not familiar, how many years did you do the conference? And can you highlight a couple of the artists that we know today that may have got their start or, were a part of what you guys were doing?
um, I started probably about 2000. I stopped doing it maybe about 2007 when B.O.B. started taking off.
Yeah.
I need to focus on that. But as
Yep.
far as people that like they came to the conference or they performed at the conference, got they started the conference. The first time T-Pain ever performed "I'm Sprung" was
Yep.
at TJsDJs at the Moon.
Yep.
The first time Shop Boys ever performed "Party Like a Rock Star" was at TJsDJs at the Moon. The first
Woo!
time
Yes.
Gucci Man performed "So Icy," it was at TJsDJs at the Moon. Matter of fact, he didn't even know his verses. So during the show, he forgot the second verse, and he had to rap the first verse two times.
Wow.
But I mean, there was so many people. I remember one night I was just I always sold out on performances, so I didn't have any extra openings or any extra slots. And this one night, Pitbull came and he wanted to perform, and it's crazy that I just had to tell him, "Hey, bro,
Can't do
I
it.
don't have
Yep.
no room tonight. I can't put you on the stage." Now he's Mr. International, worldwide superstar, but I couldn't put him on the stage. I remember one night when
Yep.
Chili walked up on me, and I didn't know she was coming. And TLC was like my favorite group. My staff knew, but they ain't tell me. So I'm just on the
Yep.
mic on the
They don't tell you.
stage,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then all of a sudden to the left of me, I see Chili walk out. I'm like, oh my God. But I'm saying everybody from T.I. to Yo Gotti to Gangsta Boo to David Banner. Like people didn't even know who Banner was. He would come to my event
Yep.
before he got his deal,
Yep.
and I had a whole lot to do with Banner breaking out and all that stuff. But I mean, I can go on and
Yeah.
on and on from Rick Ross. Rick Ross, come on, man. Rick Ross used to just be a rapper in the audience trying to give out his mixtapes.
Yep.
This
Fact.
is before
I wanted to highlight
Ross
that for
was.
you, TJ, because I know a lot of people today know you for who you are now, the amazing information you give on social media, the connections to Bob and Trap and all them, which we'll get into in a minute. But I want to let them know that you created all of this, really. Like when I think of DJ Coalition, I know there's been some, but to me, the TJsDJs, you did it the best. You broke the most artists. So I wanted to definitely highlight that for you. What was it like when you made that decision to leave that to go with Bob? Like Bob is a new artist at that time. You guys took a big chance on him. So what was it like making that decision to put all your effort into that?
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I felt like okay, the record pool meetings, the TJsDJs quarterly conferences that I used to do. I felt like that was something that I did to help artists, but also to
Yeah.
pay bills and keep the lights on.
Yeah.
With this Bob stuff, I felt like that was going to change my life. And so
Wow.
it
Wow.
was either keep pursuing the record pools, and I'm lying. I stopped doing the pools because Bob got his deal in '06. He didn't take off till 2010,
Yeah.
and so I stopped doing my TJsDJs probably about 2009 because me and Julia Beverly joined forces and we created an event called the Ozone Awards. So we did
Yeah.
the Ozone
Yeah.
Awards in Orlando in 2006, Miami 2007, and Houston 2008.
Yeah. Now
For
you
that
don't get
Houston
credit
shit.
for you don't get credit for that either, and you don't mention that much. But I remember you came to Indianapolis. Shout out to Lucky the promo king, and about the Ozone magazine and stuff like that. Does it offend you or make you upset that you don't get all that credit for all these things you created, or are you just more worried about putting wins on the board and moving on?
I mean, man, I did some cool stuff, but
Yeah.
the other stuff was way bigger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
changed my life, man. I'm straight for the rest of my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's like I went on to bigger and better things. And to this day, people keep trying to get me to do a conference again. But man, that
Yeah.
2008 conference and Ozone Awards, it was so big
Yeah. It's
that
like, what more
like
could you do?
I don't it man, it was too big. I know that
Yeah.
shit sound crazy, but I don't want that in my life no more. That thing was huge. I mean, at the award show, we had 5,600 people, but the Civic Center for where the part we were doing the award show only held 3,500. They
Mm,
broke through. They broke through the barriers. They broke through security. So we
yep.
had 5,600 people in there in a 3,500 capacity place. So I'm
Mhm.
talking about, yeah, the seats were full, but they was lined up along the walls. They was lined up and down the hallways. That was a night Trader True slapped Mike Jones. That was in the
Oh
hallway of the
wow.
2008 Ozone Awards.
Yeah.
And then I had to deal with a lawsuit at the hotel from the conference because that's where Rick Ross slapped DJ Vlad. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was crazy. And then that night at the after party, Boosie and his crew kicked some dudes to sleep in the bathroom. So I was facing all kind of legal
Yeah. There
issues,
was a
man.
lot
I
of
was facing
energy at
all
those.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And so I just let it go, man. And I haven't looked back since. And I have no regrets.
No, definitely. You mentioned Bob. What was it about Bob? Like at this time, you said you have a conference, you're doing weekly, your quarterly meetings, your DJs all the time. So you must be hearing all kinds of dope artists. What was it
Mhm.
about Bob that really said, yo, this is the one I'm going to put all my efforts, all these relationships behind and go for? Was it something he did or a story you can
No,
tell?
no, my man DJ Funky in Atlanta. He started Coalition
Luke Funky.
DJs, him and Big X. I was up there for the core DJ retreat. And the retreat ended that Sunday, but I went ahead and stayed over that Monday. Funky called me like, "Hey man, TJ man, you don't fuck with me. You don't fuck with me." I'm like, "Man, you tripping, Funky?" He's like, "Man, come on out and fuck with me tonight." I was like, "Where
Okay.
you
Yeah.
at?" He's like, "Club Crucial." I was like, "Okay, so shoot me the
Yep.
address. I'm gonna come through later." I just went through there to mess with Funky, man. I didn't know there was no open mic or nothing going on.
Okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
even care, and I wasn't even paying attention to none of that stuff. I was just getting my drink on, sitting there talking to all the DJs, the different radio people, having a good time.
Yeah.
And
Doing
next
your
thing I
daily
know,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, my normal thing. And next thing I know, this dude performed, and he caught my attention. So then I'm like looking
Okay.
at him, watching him perform. Then I'm asking everybody in the VIP, "Hey, you know, dude?" They were like, "No, I never seen him before." I was like, "Hey, you heard this song before?" They're like, "Nah, man, nah." And so next thing I know,
Mm.
I'm just waving my hands side to side, singing along with dude. And then I look at
Yeah.
myself like, "Hey, bro, like, what the fuck you doing?"
What's
Because I
wrong with
don't
you?
do
Yeah.
that stuff. And I don't even know
Yeah.
this dude. And so
Yeah.
he kept performing. And by the time he got done, I was blown away. And so as I'm looking at him on stage performing, all I could think of the whole time was going through my head just repeatedly, "This your makeup for T-Pain. This your makeup for T-Pain.
Yeah.
This your makeup for T-Pain." And so he got done performing. I immediately went up to the stage, talked to him. It's like, "Hey, you got a manager?" He was like, "Yeah, I got a manager. This is my manager." I met his manager. I told him, "Hey, I want to be part of the team. I think dude dope." They let me be a part of the
Yeah.
team. A week and a
Yeah.
half later, we were doing label meetings. A month and a half later from that night, that was August 14th, 2006. Well, October 3rd, 2006, we signed a deal with Atlantic. And that was the rest is history.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob was on
Now, and I
Atlantic.
know
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I know you and Bob have been together for a very long time. I want to celebrate
18
for the new
years.
single. Steve Harvey just dropped. Bob is back at it. How exciting is it to see him back making dope music and doing what he loves to do?
Well, he never stopped making dope music. It's just a matter of people seeing the music, hearing the music he
Yep.
was making. It's crazy because he has all these fans and they're always asking, "Hey, man, when's Bob going to come out with something new?" It's
Yeah,
like,
like it just
duh,
dropped.
he always comes out with something new. He's a prolific recording artist. He's always recording. But
Yep.
it's just whether or not being on a major label anymore, it's like the masses don't get a chance to actually see what's going on. But right now, I feel like he's been enjoying life,
Yep.
and in the process, he's just been recharging. So it's like he has new energy now. I feel like he's a hungry artist again, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's a lot of dope music. I mean, he's got this album that's about to drop, but then after this, the rock
Okay.
album is dropping. The rock album is mixed and
Oh,
mastered.
he's gonna do a
It's
rock
waiting to
album.
drop. I mean, it's done.
Ooh.
It's mixed and mastered once again. It's done. And then after that, he has the house album that's mixed and mastered. It's done. All this stuff is
Okay.
finished. You know what I'm saying? It's not what he's working on. No, it's done.
Yeah. This Steve Harvey record, I really think is a cheat code for you because, as you said, you come from the DJ. So it's all about scratching. It's got a lot of DJ playing it. So I think you're going to get a lot of response with that.
And let me say this.
I know you just came from the core,
Fun fact.
conference. What was that like? Like you said, we mentioned TJ. You started a lot of these conferences.
Well, first off, I just want to say, because you mentioned scratching, most people don't know that's Bob scratching. Bob has started DJing now. He's a DJ couple. Him and his lady, him and his fiance Tiffany. They DJ together, so they DJ as a couple. So that's him scratching in the song.
Right.
But the core retreat in Vegas, like anytime that I can go and hang out and kick it with my DJ friends, it's an awesome time. And it's like most people don't even know about DJ retreats. And it's like most of the time people think of DJs when they went to record plays. So they go to the DJ at the club and just give them their record. Don't really try to build a relationship with them. But they don't understand, like at a place like a retreat, it's one of the few times you're going to catch a DJ when he's not working. When he's hanging out for days in a row. So you actually get a chance to go and build with the DJs. You can buy them drinks. You can do all kind of stuff. Buy them dinner. I mean, they're just hanging out. They're regular people. But you don't get a chance to actually build a relationship like you do when you go to these retreats. And then after you see the same DJ and talk to the same DJ 3 days in a row, then he's going to remember you. And it makes a huge difference when you're giving them your music and you're trying to get them to play your stuff when you actually have a relationship.
Yep. Now, I remember you just mentioned South by Southwest. You made a post that you even made connections. Imagine that. You've been in the game all these years. You've done all these major deals, but you still had a chance to make those connections. And, I want to highlight one that we know of. So Candy, I know she was, you found her kind of through South by Southwest as well. So can we give a little bit of that backstory of how you and So Candy started working, and how exciting is it to have a new young artist that's really going out here and getting it the way she is?
Well, to be honest, I met Candy not this year South by Southwest, last year South by Southwest, and she was around trap. And so I met her, but I don't really pay attention to these people, man, to be honest with you. I introduced myself, but that was that. I didn't really know who she was. But then we went to this one club, and she got on stage and started performing.
Yeah.
And so next thing I know, I'm looking around, and all these women in the club got their phones out and they're videotaping her performance. And then next thing I know, they sing along with the song. But I'm just like, okay, this is a new song. I ain't never heard this shit before.
How they know that? Yep.
Yeah, but it's like all I can see is, once again, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but all I can see is dollar signs. You know what I'm saying? I just kept seeing dollar signs. And so it's just like, yo, and then I also shed a little tear because I was happy for my guy Trap Beckons, because he'd been telling me about this artist he found, but I really ain't paid attention. I never seen her. So when I saw her and I saw a star on that stage, I was happy for my guy because he found a star.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be part of the situation. And so we started rocking probably about a month after that. And this year at South by Southwest was a 1-year anniversary. She's grown so much to now we even got a hot ass record featuring Fat Man Scoop called Get Low.
The Get Low record, man, they loving it. The girls are doing a lot of dances to it. What was it like? Also with the Taste Like Candy record, that's a fan favorite that I've heard a lot of DJs, say they love. So what's it like to have her on the team? And she's got all these hits. She's got songs with trap, and she's got these other hits just waiting to go out. And with your mind and how this game works, like some of the strategy you guys are working on, or anything that we can, with this Get Low record or anything like that.
Well, the thing with her is she's a star. She's a star.
Yeah,
she's a people person. She understands what she needs to do. So the biggest thing for me, man, is just make sure I put her in front of people. If I just put her in front of people, whether it's on stage, whether it's in a room, whatever it is, she's gonna do the rest. I ain't got to do shit. I ain't got to do nothing. Like,
and that's what's so good for her, because she is an energy. Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say that's what's so cool about her is she is such a ball of energy and such a beautiful lady that you can put her on stages with Trap, with Bob. Like you can put her in situations nobody else can, and it's definitely working. A lot of DJs are loving that. So I salute you on that. You mentioned Trap, like you said, he's another one of the artists that you've kind of been working with for a long time. So what was it about Trap that stood out to you, and how great has it been watching his progression all these years and where he's at now with his label and doing these amazing things he's doing?
Well, the funny thing is with the trap situation, I got a call one day. My man, he's a booking agent. He's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
man," he's like, "When you gonna be in Atlanta again?" I'm just like, "Why?" He was like, "Man, cause my man Stevie Stacks, he owns the label that Trap is signed to. Stevie has a deal with Def Jam, and Stevie
Woo.
wants to meet with you next time you're gonna be in Atlanta." So I told him when I was gonna be in Atlanta again. Stevie
Yeah.
flew up to Atlanta to come meet with me. He was telling me about the situation they had with Def Jam and that, Def Jam didn't really know what they were doing, with Trap and this and that. And he needed somebody to come in and straighten the whole situation out and take charge. So I went and met with Trap. I met with Stevie a couple times. I met with Trap. And I just like dude,
Yeah.
I felt like it was something that I was supposed to do. And then I had talks with Def Jam and my man EP and my man Crespo over there. Well, Crespo's at Atlantic, but
Yeah.
they wanted me to be a part of the situation because they wanted my help.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at it, I just felt like, okay, they was burning Birthday Bitch out. Like they
Yeah.
went straight to radio with that
Yep.
record, like it was just some East Coast something, but you can't do that with these Southern records. And so
Yep.
they did that without ever building a foundation. And so the first thing I did, I came in and I built a foundation for the Birthday Bitch. Because without a foundation, just think about a house. You just
It's
put
not gonna work.
you try to put up a roof, and you don't have the foundation built and any kind of support. The roof's not gonna do nothing but fall. And that's the same thing with these records.
Yeah.
And so I like building foundations underneath stuff so we can damn build up on top of it. And then that's how you get those
Mm.
songs like Birthday Bitch that last for eternity. You got to
Yeah.
build them the right
No,
way.
I
And
think
that's
that's
how,
very valuable. I think that's a very valuable piece of game you just gave there because so many artists don't understand the importance of a slow rollout. You don't want to put it on DSPs first. You want to give it to DJs. You want to do the hand to hand. You want to build that song up to where when it finally hits the DSPs, it means something. And you taught me that. Like, how do
well,
you
but
get your
hey, but
artists on?
I gotta stop you because that's false information. That's old
Okay.
school. That's old
Okay.
school.
Let's go.
New
Yep.
school, it's like people want instant gratification. We're in an
Yep.
age where they want everything right now. They're not gonna wait.
Yep.
Like old school, you might start on a record a month and a half, 2 months before, and you start seeing the DJs and getting everything going with the record before it comes out. So when it does come out, you can have a big day and people are anxious about it. But
Yeah.
today, it's like you do that stuff, you're missing streams when people
Yeah.
hear something the first time, if they like it, it's automatic they're gonna pull out their phone and Shazam it to figure out what it is. Once they figure
Yep.
out what it is, it's only natural for them to want to add it to their playlist or listen to it. So if you
Yep.
got a month of play going on, then you missing all these Shazams, you missing
Yep.
all these streams from these people hearing it. And so I don't think that's a good idea,
Okay. I'm
and
glad you said that. Yeah.
so today, if I did start promoting before it comes out, I'd at least have the smart link so people can
Mm.
go look for it and they can find it and they can at least pre-save it so it
Yeah.
pops up, when it does come out. But if
Now,
not, you're missing all them streams.
Now, with you, you are like a guru of all breaking records. Like I said, all these years you've been doing this. That's a good example of how do you stay so in tune with what's going on next. Like you're an innovator with a lot of Web 3.0. You're a lot like you're really in tune to all this technology going on. So how are you staying with the times and breaking records and doing what it takes now? Because it's a brand new way, as you just said. So how do you keep up with that?
I'm still a student of the game. I feel like when I
Yeah,
stop learning, that's when I need to quit. I learn something new
yeah,
every day, bro. And it just ain't by chance. I read, I study shit, like I listen to stuff, and I stay on top of it. I
yeah,
mean, to really. establish longevity in this game, you got to be able to adopt with the times and even recreate yourself if
Yeah.
necessary. But standing
Yeah.
stuck on stupid ain't gonna get you no place.
Yeah. And you innovator, once again, you're an innovator in everything, but you were doing the free music review for a very long time. And, it just goes to show how you love to give game to artists but also want to, find a good talent. What was one or two of the dopest artists you maybe found, or someone that, because you did that review show, it led to, building with you or something like that? I know there was a lot of them. So you want to highlight one or two?
Okay, well, the first thing is people are just now catching on to review shows, and
Yeah.
everybody's doing them. The one
Yeah.
thing that they don't realize is I started doing this in 2008. We didn't have
Facts.
all this stuff, so
Yep.
mine was on Ustream. You can still find it on Ustream today. It wasn't called the
Mhm.
free music review; it was called the new music review. And I tell you a story. One time I was on the road with Bob. We were on tour, and so we were in Cleveland. I did the new music review from the hotel. My old business partner came
Okay.
in the room. He was just like, "Hey man, I'm hungry for some pizza." So while I'm doing the show, I'm looking out. Okay, well, there's no pizza places around here, but there's a Walmart. Okay, there's a Denny's, but I don't see no pizza place. So I didn't think nothing about it.
Okay.
So we did the show. So later on that night, I'm out in the parking lot smoking with my friend who live in Cleveland. Um, Next thing I know, my phone rang. Bob called me. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, man, your pizza here." I'm like, "Okay." I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, I ain't know no goddamn pizza." Bob, he was always on the conspiracy theories and everything. So I didn't want to scare him. I was like, "Okay,
Right.
well, tell the pizza man I'm outside in the parking lot." And so next thing I know, all of a sudden, this tall white dude comes out the hotel carrying a pizza, and he walk up toward me and my friend, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Okay, what's up, bro? Because you know I ain't ordered no damn pizza. What's going on?" He's like, "Man, you don't understand. People like you don't come to my city. Um, I heard you was here. I heard
Yeah.
you was looking for the pizza. So I had to find you." He said, "I called every hotel in Northeast Ohio asking them where they buy a Walmart and a Denny's until I actually found the hotel that you were at." He was like, then I went to Domino's and ordered a pizza. And so I was gonna bring it to you. I was like, "Okay, so how are you gonna find me?" He's like, "I didn't know." But he said, when I pulled up, I saw a pizza man pulling up, walking in the hotel. So he was like, "Okay, perfect. I just need to follow him because that's their pizza." So he followed dude, went up the elevator, followed dude to the room. People opened the door. It wasn't nobody. He was just like, "Damn, okay, well, no, wrong thing. How am I gonna find out where it's at?" So he was walking back toward the lobby. When he was walking back toward the lobby, he heard some cymbals, loud cymbals, coming out of the room. And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
he knocked on the door, and Bob answered. And so then that's when he was like, "Hey, I got a pizza for TJ." And so Bob sent him outside. But make a long story short, he was like, "Man, I wanted to meet you. I wanted to give you my music." He's like, "To be honest, man, my girl just her water just broke. She's going into labor. She was rushed to the hospital, but she told me to come meet you and handle my business and then come to the hospital after
Wow.
after after I did all that." So you know who this guy was? Machine Gun
Uh-uh.
Kelly.
Woo!
But that's whenever I see him, we always trip off that story.
Yeah.
But that's what if you really want it, that's the
Yeah,
type of
but that's
shit
gonna
that
be my
you'll do.
that was gonna
Like
be my follow-up question. You've seen artists, to see them get to that next step and that next step and stuff, they have to be crazy sometimes, right? They have to do stuff that doesn't nobody else is doing to separate themselves. Is that some of the stuff you look for when you're looking at artists and stuff like
I
that?
mean, I don't look at crazy shit like that, but it's all a matter of how much you want it. I look at I
Yeah.
look at I look at a person's work ethic. I look at
Yep.
how bad somebody wants this. And to give you
Yep.
another example of somebody that I met doing the reviews, I looked and saw this video one day of this dude rapping at a club, and the whole
Okay.
crowd was singing along with him. And I was just like, "Man, I never heard of this dude. Like, who is this that got the whole crowd singing word for word?" So I tracked him down. I called his manager. I told him, hey man, I want to do a listening session with your artist at my house. So he was like, okay, cool, TJ, whatever. He brought him up. And so I did this listening session, and dude's shit was dope, but it sounded like shit because he didn't know that you're supposed to get your music mixed when you
Oh
leave the
wow, he just gave you
studio.
the original. Yeah.
And so he would just have them record it, dump it down, and take it and start giving it to people. So when I was playing this album on my live review, on my
Yeah.
live listening session, all the viewers watching were talking shit. But I'm just like, okay, but I can hear through the bad sound
Yeah.
to see the
Potential.
dude had something though. And so I'm sitting up there arguing with the damn people in the audience. This person was Rod Wave,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
he never
'Cause
knew he was supposed to mix his
you're
music.
very true on that, TJ, because you've seen it and we've seen it. When an artist is good, regardless of the mix quality, you can hear potential. Like so many people be like, "Oh, it's not mixed and mastered right, so we just not even going to listen to it." Sometimes those people just don't have the budget to go get it mastered, but they have that talent.
Yeah, I mean, a hot song is a hot song. I mean, period. I mean, it's still the same hook. It's still the same verses. It just may not sound as good, so a lot of people can't see through the smoke.
Yeah. Now, like I said, you've had a lot of accomplishments in your careers we can highlight, but the Black Radio Hall of Fame, that's a major accomplishment, man. So first off, congratulations. And what was your
Appreciate it.
response when you got the call and said, "Hey, we're gonna add you to the team or the family"?
Well, first off, my man Hurricane Dave, shout out Hurricane Dave, he hit me and told me I was going to be nominated. They hadn't announced the nomination. Well, let me shut up. But he told me I was nominated. And
Okay.
so I was just like, okay, well, damn. Hopefully I'm good. I get this. Then come to find out, I'm on the list of the inductees. So man, it was just like an awesome experience because for me, I do all this stuff, and I may not get a lot of recognition for a lot of the stuff I've done or people that I've been
Yep.
behind and helped. I can tell you story after story after story after story.
Yeah.
But to know my name is going in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
and in some place forever, that's really all I've ever wanted. I've
Yeah.
always wanted to go down in history. I want to go down in history as being one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's got to be real motivational for you because I know your son is coming up in the game. He's had some major successes already. So how is it motivating him now to see his dad's, in the rock, in the Radio Hall of Fame? Is that making him work harder, or and what's it
I
like to have
mean,
your son involved and you get to mentor him and show him some of the ropes?
well, he's his own person. I don't get to mentor him. He has his own mind and has his own way of thinking.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I never realized that he would just sit there and listen to me and watch me handle business, and I never realized, that could be an inspiration for him because
Yeah.
for me, all the stuff I've done, I had to figure it out. I never
Yeah.
had somebody to look up to let me know, hey, if you do this, this is possible, or this is possible. I never heard of an A&R person. I never heard of a damn record pool. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
never heard of none of that stuff,
Yep.
man. I had to figure this out. I had to keep bumping my head. I had to take losses after losses.
Yep.
Luckily, I'm still here, but I'm glad that I can be a role model for somebody to look up to know what is possible. And if he needs some help, I'm
Yep.
very plugged in and ain't nothing to help.
Okay. As though I know that he's had a lot of successes too, so I appreciate that. I know you're a busy person, so I'm not going to take too much more of your time. But what I mean, you've come back to social media with you said there's an emphasis now because you want to reach 200,000 people, man, and I'm glad to see it because you give the best content in the game period for people who want to be in the industry and stuff. How are people responding in your viewpoint from all this new free game you're offering, and how does it feel to see that they're making this difference for these up and coming people that way?
It's pretty cool, man. I mean, I had got burnt out on social media for a while, and so I had stopped posting like I used to post. And so it took me a minute, and so when I met Candy, Candy gave me new energy. And so
Yeah.
all that what people are seeing is this new energy that I get from Candy. Period.
Wow.
And so I'm
Dope.
energized, and it's pretty cool, but it's like it's also bringing a lot of attention that I don't necessarily like all that attention. I don't like all these people trying to get at me and all that stuff
Yeah.
because I'm not, to be honest, I'm not really interested. I
Okay.
have
Yeah.
enough. I have enough work to do trying to keep up with my artists. I'm not saying I
Yeah.
wouldn't manage another artist by seeing a dope artist, but all these people reaching out to me looking for management and all this stuff, I'm not interested, and
Yeah.
that's not why I make these posts. I'm not interested in working your project. I'm exclusive to my artists. I'm not trying to make no side money. I'm not trying to promote your record. I'm not trying to do none of that. I think
Yeah.
I no matter how much you're gonna pay me, I don't think it's what
Enough.
equates to my
Yeah.
value and what I bring to
Yeah.
the
Fact.
table. So I'm not interested in that stuff, bro.
Are you thinking about podcasts though? Like you've already given us some gems of stories so far. Like you got a lot of friends that are very, very successful in the podcast arena now. Is that something you thought about?
Well, me and Tony Neal are starting the TJ and Tony show.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that. Okay.
yeah,
That's fire.
so I mean, yeah, we already got the logo. It's called the TJ and Tony Show, and we're looking to start taping sometime soon in the near future.
Dope. Now, before we get out of here, if anybody wants to reach out to you or want to contact you, what's the best way to reach out to you and your preferred method of contact?
I mean, you can hit me on social media on Instagram. All my stuff is TJsDJs, TJsDJs. And that's the best way to get at me. I'll see it. And if I don't respond to you, it's because your approach was off. Period.
Yeah.
Other than that, I respond to everybody. But if your approach ain't right, then don't expect a response.
I was gonna ask you, did you have any free game to give anybody? But that was the best. That was the best game you can give is the approach. What's something people have done correctly with their approach that worked versus people messed up? Can we give any additional game with that?
I mean, the thing that I hate the most is you come to me talking about get at me. I hate that. What does that mean? Or the let's
Yeah.
work. What does that mean? What we gonna work on? You gonna work on my car? We gonna get a job?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, come like you got some sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure your mom and dad told you when you walk into a room, greet people and say hello. But if you can't say hi and you just walk
Yeah.
into what you want and what you need, then shit, I ain't here for that. That's the wrong
Yeah.
approach, and you're not gonna get the desired response. But the main thing that I tell
Now,
anybody,
if you're
and
not working,
no, I was just gonna say
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
the main thing that I would tell anybody in this game, and it just seems like everything nowadays with this generation of artists is just so transactional. Um, the best thing in the world is really your relationships.
Yeah.
Build your
Fact.
relationships with these people. Having relationships, man, is everything. It,
Yeah.
it, it allows you to do a lot of stuff that money can't buy.
Yep. Yep. No, facts. I started in the beginning of the interview thanking you for so much of what you've done for Stop Beef from Radio with me in St. James. And it's so true, man. You've come to Indianapolis and texted us one time when you and Bob were in town. Like when we're at conferences, you've given us exclusive interviews all these years. You brought Trap to the station, man. So I'm just so thankful for that because you've been a big inspiration for what we're doing. If you're not doing music, if you've got time to yourself, what do you like to do for fun, TJ? If you got a moment where there's nothing on your agenda, what are you doing to relax or have fun?
I mean, I like to fish. I like to shoot
Okay.
pool. I like to smoke weed. I recently opened a new vegan food truck in Miami called Plant Menage. So I have that business in Miami now, and I'm in the
Congrats.
process of working on a rooftop lounge situation in Atlanta that we're working on too. So we'll see how that comes
Dope.
about.
And then I know we got a lot of releases coming. Any dates we can circle on the calendar for you yet, or anything we should be on the lookout for coming from the team or from the
I
from yours?
mean, Bob just released a single Friday, Steve Harvey.
Yep.
Candy released a single the Friday before that, Get Low. We got a new song coming from Trap here soon called Pass the Lighter. That shit jamming. Then you got new B.O.B. album called Space Time. That's the album that Steve Harvey's on. And I said you got the house and the rock albums coming from B.O.B. Candy's next single is called The Mayor. We're gonna be getting that ready soon. It's already mixed and
Okay.
mastered. We just need to set a release date for it. You know, we're gonna drop
Nope.
music a lot more frequent than we have in the past. So looking to
Okay.
drop a single on her like every couple months. And
Now, was
just
it
keep working,
your
man.
idea? Was it your and Trap's idea to have her do the flip a day, or what, did she come up with that herself? And what's the response you guys been getting for that challenge?
She came up with that herself. I mean, she's always asked
Yeah.
me about stuff, and it's like the biggest thing with anything, if you're in this game, you need to have some kind of niche to make yourself stand out. And
Yep.
she always heard people would always tell her, "Nah, don't flip, don't focus on that, focus on your music." But it's like she
Yep.
mentioned stuff to me. I'm like, "That's your niche.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what
makes you
makes you
special. Yep.
special."
Yeah.
So go ahead and do it. And she just do it. She started doing it, and she was doing it. She got up to 50 days in a row before we finally stopped to do the next single. But a lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize that Candy is a former gymnast, a former cheerleader, college cheerleader. She was a cheerleader for the Houston, Texans.
Yeah.
So she was a professional cheerleader. So she's used to being in these crowds, in front of these crowds. She was in front of 70,000 people every Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
So
not scared at
she
all.
understands how to entertain the people, and so it goes a long way. I mean, she once again she's a star. It's just a
Now,
matter of
anything
time
else you want to?
before.
Oh, I'm
Hmm?
sorry. I was gonna say anything else you want to make sure we cover, or we didn't mention before we get out of here.
Not that I can think of.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time tonight, TJ. Honor, man. You've helped us so much more. I'm looking forward to breaking more records. Like I said, the DigiWax connection, anything I can do to help you, man, just let me know. And I hope you have a great night.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate all the help you've given me too, brother.
Yeah. Honored, man. Salute.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Peace. All right. Please say every